Hey there folks, and welcome to the next GT7 Showcase. In this showcase I'm going to be showing cars, engine swaps, and plenty of more. Starting with the Nissan Qashqai Tekna e-Power 2022. Starting with the D's. So the Qashqai Tekna e-Power, which I don't even think I said it right the first time, or the Cash. I thought it was called the Qashqai, but no, it's the Qashqai. Or Qashqai. I think it's Qashqai. Either way, weird ass car at the end of the day for an SUV, gas electric, I should say, because this is a gas electric power car. Luckily, compared to the other e-hybrids, at least it has that, but otherwise, as you can see, you really can't do much with this car besides, you know, you have the car at best. But as you probably notice, the horsepower is less than what it normally is. It's usually sitting around like 160, 170. That's because I can't even do a 450 build with this crap thing. Just to say. But anyways, you can add a wide body and such. And then now onto the cosmetics, which I'm just gonna say it's not much you can do, really. It's not surprised for a freaking crossover at Gran Turismo again. It's like, oh my god, you just can't stop getting that dough from the companies, because this has to be some kind of promotional or some crap at this point. But I digress. I don't want to be, that controversial and shit, but good god, man. Just another crossover to bum at the end of the day. Represent everything wrong. But yeah, I came here to play functional good cars, not functional terrible cars that, you just see on a normal basis. Even though I will say, out of all the crossovers I've seen in real life, I have not seen a Qashqai, god. I'm just gonna keep that in because, oh my god, it's a mouthful how to say it. Even though, here's the actual name in the US, Nissan Rouge. So you can call it that too. But yeah, you can basically do like skirts, the sides, and you also add a functional spoiler, if it's functional. And you can add license plates and stuff like that. But yeah, that's really about it. All you can do to it, sadly, is that disappointing. It is the big old D for sure. Starting at the FF Challenge 450, by the way, at Alsace Test Course. Cause yeah, this ain't a Sunday Cup. This is a FF Challenge they made for this car of mine. Even though, for the builds I do, it does do 450 if you're on sauce. If you're on mediums, it's like at best 440. Oh, by the way, I hope you like that graphic glitch, by the way, because yeah, this car also has a graphic glitch on top of it, so you know how beautifully Polyphony did for this, because oh my god, at the end of the day, or Polyphony, god, even I can't even say their name right when I see this. Polyphony. But Qashqai, here's the weird part. It's technically not that bad on the mobility factor, although I think I had to reduce the weight 3 times its normal, because I think it normally weighs like 3,600 pounds. Because of the weight reduction, it dumps it down to 2,600 a day. But yeah, normally it's like 170-ish horsepower. I lowered it down to 133 because screw it, let's just give it the K build at the end of the day, which is comfort soft tires at 400 pp. And did it do this event at the end of the day? Yeah, surprisingly it did. Hey. Alright, although the opponents weren't really pushing at the end of the day, but yeah, we could do it at the end of the day. Otherwise, wouldn't push this otherwise. Because I will say there's one mission it has in mind for that goal. It needs to win that race. If it doesn't win that race, what is the point? That's the way it goes. Yeah, you got a bunch of FF opponents as usual. You got the Swift. I feel bad for the Swift. It got beaten by Cascade. Oh my god. And then the CX-30, which that's fine. That's technically the best crossover so far. And then you got the Demio XD Tour. Although, I will say, it doesn't technically mean much because CX-30 is essentially the Mazda 6, just a little bit. A little bit differences here and there. And cheaper. Yeah, I forgot that CX-30 was like 36. Well, our CX-30 was 29, while the Mazda 6 was 36. However, the cash case price, in case you're wondering, 40 grand, please. You know what you can actually get with that instead? How about Honda S2000? This, oh my god, like, there's like a big difference between the matter of purchase on this. But if you just have no choice and you need to buy a crossover electric, I guess this is this. At the end of the day, it just... See, here's the thing. When it comes to Gran Turismo and slow cars, you know you're gonna have a fun time because it's either A, a joke, or B, it's good. This is neither of those. This is definitely a promotional vehicle if you've ever seen one. This is what's kind of represented wrong about Gran Turismo right now, is this crap. And I will not defend that crap, because there's points I'll defend. This ain't one of them. Because I love Gran Turismo, but I ain't gonna love Gran Turismo if it becomes a promotional shit stain at the end of the day. This is not what it was. And I hate bad changes like that. Because yeah, you could say, oh, we need to change better for the future. This ain't better, this is worse. As thing goes. Pick some good cars next time, because oh my god. I would know the next two cars, they're much better, but this is just laughable. Like, it's like we saw an onslaught of constant crossovers at this point, but the thing is, people didn't ask for these, like, at all. Like, maybe the CX-30 was fine. That was probably the okayest one, probably the best one. At least do 550 with that, which I have done. It's not so bad at the end there. But something like this, I don't even know why it exists at the end of it. I would rather have the new Toyota Prius than this crap stone at the end of it. Yeah, it's just definitely the dump of cars, the D of dump. It's bad. It is bad. You're gonna use it for like this one event, and that's it. That's all you're gonna do with it. Or if you're gonna drive in custom, which, you know, it is electric. I wonder if it's one make only. It probably is. I didn't even bother checking endurance on this one. Just But anyways, on to a much better car. We mainly just jumped straight to B for this rank because we have the R34 GTR Z-Tune. So the Nissan R34 Skyline GTR Z-Tune is kind of the last hurrah to the Skyline in general before it went off to becoming the R35 and such, with the VR38D TT motor and such. And what bang to go out with, which is the Nismo R34 Skyline GTR Z-Tune, which is essentially a 500. I want to say just 573 horsepower shown there, I think. or something like that. It's like, it's not crazy, it's like 500 horsepower, but yeah. It's definitely something at the end of the day. And I will note, this is a professionally tuned car, but as you can probably see, the biggest flaw about this car is its price initially to get this car. It's $3 million. And as you saw there, the body was like a 1.5 mil and such. It's like, oh my god. And the engine's like 2.5. Like, oh Jesus. So yeah, for a Skyline, it's hopefully it's that special to you at the end of the day. But yeah, you can add a Y-body, and this Y-body does overhaul the looks of the car. It gives it more of a GT500 look at the end of the day. Here's all the other cosmetics you can do and such. So in case you like adding like different rims instead of the Nismo ones, because they're under, I think they're painted black. I changed them white, or I changed them to aluminum color at the end of the day. Make them look better than what they are, because yeah, they were in black, so it's like, yeah, we're changing that. So you can give it basically a whole different front clips at the end of the day. I doubt you could probably make Brian's vehicle out of this one, for sure. And then you can also add side scoops, you can also add rear, of course. I don't know what's with the Type B one, that's the weird one to me. Active arrow? Or what? Or is that just normal? That must be just a normal Skyline rear at the end of the day. And then the spoiler, you can have a bigger one of the base model, or you can have a GT500 wing. You can probably see where I went with this at the end of the day for towards the build. And just say, would have done 750 pp if I didn't have to lower it. Because for the event it's dedicated to it. But yeah, as I mentioned, professionally tuned, it only leads to one kind of vent for that example, which is the turbo. So we have a turbo vent for this and that such. Oh, another cool part too about the Z2 too, its brake lights, when they light up, they light much differently compared to R34 NER. It's very crazy. I will note too that we will be seeing the base model Z2 too in that event too. So no worries about seeing the initial body, because you'll see it. It's one cool part. You got 3 colors for this option. You either have a silver, a purple, or a millennium jade, which is like an off metallic green. But yeah, you can do like a lot of things to this car at the end of the. At least that's a good part, besides costing so much. Because yeah, again, it's like $3 million initially for the car. It's a lot, I must say. There is also another bonus thing too about this car, is that you can change the inner lights, or the inner orange lights, to a brighter one if you so wish to, when you're in the vinyl design. Because yeah, for some reason, like some of the cosmetics are in the vinyl design for some reason. That's the one thing I never understood. Now onto the race of turbo sports cars at Fuji International Speedway, because surprisingly they didn't have one. I thought they did. But the R34 GTR Z2 is a very special Nismo build R34, because not only was the last hurrah, there was only like 23 of these cars made. But the special thing about these R34s at the end of the day, they were not only modified heavily by Nismo, they also got like 500 plus horsepower, so you got something nice for the bang for your buck, and you got that cool hood piece at the end of the day. If I do have a preference though, I think I'd rather have I believe the S-Tune, because let's say there's 2 other tunes besides the Z-Tune. There was the S-Tune or R-Tune or something like that. I just know it's the red one with the stripes, because that had pretty cool vinyl. This one kind of doesn't have any vinyl for some reason. It just has mostly just body cosmetic changes. So as you can see, there's the base model right there, and it's normally silver. Which is interesting, because yeah, you would think it'd be in a Bayside blue for this case, but no, you can't get in Bayside blue. So if you want to put it in Bayside blue, you have to go put it in the vinyl design for it. Otherwise, I'll stick with the Midnight Purple the Third, thank you very much. As I guess. But overall, pretty dang good good car, considering for horsepower, this thing could probably jack up to like 1,200 horsepower. Everyone note you really don't need it. And considering the tuning build I did, which was, by the way, it was for 750, but I nerfed it to heckin' back to 700 for this case. So this could do 750 on tap without getting those engine parts. If you got those engine parts, maybe 800 PP perhaps? I don't know. Wouldn't be really worth it at the end of the day. That's the bad part. But just with the interchanging parts and stuff, you get about 950 horsepower plus. An estimate. I will say, I should technically got the estimates for that, but it is what it is. If I came to show the car and, you know, show the event dedicated to it, and since it's 700, well, you're not going to be seeing the full horsepower in that case because it's not going to be possible. But yeah, our real opponent in this event is the MC20, which not surprising, it's a fast car. Such. But yeah, I will say they all have sports hard tires, they do not have race hard tires. It still shocks to me on that. But you know, it's all about the speed when it comes to these turbo guns, though. Technically, I should, you know, join on that, but the thing is, there's no good builds for that kind of number, really. Besides, you know, going in at 600 PP, but I didn't want to put this car in 600 PP when I already did the R34 nerf, so no, I'm not. Yeah, I got a lot of contenders at the end of the day, from the Z Performance to the R34's Tune. Not surprised about that car because it will be showing that. But yeah, as you can see, when anytime its brake lights light up, you see this cool little flower effect instead of the whole brake light lighting up. They're flower-looking lights, which is pretty cool. That's heck of a twist, I gotta say. But then again, makes sense because then there's only 23 of these, and they're already at $3 million, which is a big old holy crap. But if I had a real say when it comes to this Skyline at the end, just get the regular Skyline. Just get the regular Skyline, just copy paste a little bit of the parts. If there's any parts you like out of Z-Tune, just copy paste that at the end of it. Don't even bother giving $3 million unless you're made of money. I guess if there's one cool thing about the Z-Tune though, at least you can give it like a GT500 body though. That was what changed it to a B, by the way. Otherwise it would have been a C to me because professionally tuned, you just can't technically do a whole lot with, as long as certain events offer it in some cases, but I think there is some Japanese ones that might, I think. I know the World Touring's all fine, Andy. Such. And then you got the terrible sports car here. Hypercar won't allow it because it's not a real car. Because that's the only bummer part. Because since it's not a production car, because I will say that's what means by professional tune. By the way, I come to realize that. I said, oh yeah, they're not production at all. This is why they're considered professionally tuned. Because they're made for only thing in mind to be tuned, and that's it. That's really it. Which, to be honest on that, that means yeah, they're just little pet project cars at the end of it. What those like. And considering, I mean, I don't want to diss the Z-Tune at the end of the day, but it just feels like when they went from the R35 of 500 horsepower to the R34, you know, 500 horsepower of this one to the R35, I think you just kind of just have to choose to say the R35 at the end of the day. I know the body's nice and all for the R34, but $3 million compared to $100 grand? My God, 9 days. And you can technically get the same color. You know, I will say this purple's not that technically that special, but you know, memes aside. Yeah, so basically just running away at the competition at the end of the day on this, because yeah, I'm not surprised. I wanted to do 750 with it, but Sadly, no. There's no events high enough for that offer. Unless through the WTC, which, yeah, I plan to do that eventually. I'm not going to say this weeklies while they are offering 800, because, yeah, I will say I did do the weeklies too. Because that would be the next day of upload, I will say, after this one. Hopefully next day I upload. But yeah. Got the Garage RCR, which, yeah, this looks pack a punch. This must be tuned. Oh my gosh, because using the RCR is not that quick. We got the M2 Pez zone. Bro Z once again, that's not a surprise. Let's use the common one. And now also includes the Impreza 22B, that dark blue with the pink, which is a reference to, I didn't realize it's a reference to the GT3 Impreza race car too. So that's the same reddish pink. And then you got the Z points just zooming on by, baby! That was hilarious. But yeah, by the way, this has like 9 gears, so it's good. That's the funny part about the Z-Force. In a car I need to touch a bit more in the future because that car is insane. For its gears. That's the one big insane part about the Z-Force car. Is that it's a 9-speed power shift. I can't say in real life though, I assume it's just 9-speed automatic, but yeah. Because I don't know how the whole power shift, is it always with automatics or is it just, you know, is what it is, basically. That's the one that I never understand. When I think to power shifts, is that always built in the car or is that just, you know, something of the side that being said? Oh yeah, the other cool thing about the Z-Tune too, it's got its own type of gauges. Of course, baby, it can go 200 miles per hour with 320 kilometers per hour, I believe. Even though, no doubt, this can go way quicker than that. So now on to the last great car, which is the Honda N1 RS. I went crazy with this little car. So the Honda M1 RS. The Honda M1 RS is a successor to a really old car of Honda's lineage, I should say. The Honda N360, which I thought, in some ways, that was based to the Honda Civic. No, the Honda 360 is literally just Honda's K car at the end of the day and such. Now it also, of course, does the whole government setting, which is 63 horsepower, but you can also turn around and do like 163 horsepower at max, in case you want to. So yeah, this car can do a 450 pp setting with comfort mediums, as long as you have a spoiler and a good front lift, basically, at the end of it. And such. So yeah, otherwise a very fun car at the end of it. There you go, like all these parts you can basically add and such. Not surprised. It's just not like a whole lot of big horsepower gains up, but to me that's just fun. That's definitely fun in that case. The other special thing I will say about the M1 RS, and whether people kind of realize this or not, in terms of the new K cars and the K cars they lost and such, this is technically like the second or third FF K car they have. The other one is the Daihatsu Copen and such. But yeah, so you can add a wide body, and the wide body makes it look completely different, I gotta say, and such. And then for rims, you can't technically do much with the base rims, but if you go and add the custom rims, you can not only make it 13 inches, I think you can make the width, I believe, rim width, I believe. But yeah, it's crazy to put 13 inches on this. I want to go that low. At least go 15. 15 is usually a good norm when it comes to cars. Now stuff you can add and such, you can add a skirt, which I had to look at that hard because I tried to figure out what on earth is that. I didn't realize the rear skirt sticks out like that. So I had to like look at this very hard and concernedly. Is that a skirt? Yeah, that's a skirt. Okay, yeah, that's a skirt. Alright, we're good. And such. And then the spoiler here. So. Yeah, I will admit it's not as crazy as the Suzuki Carry truck, but it has some okay things. Hey, at least it's functionally a car compared to the crap stain that is the Qashqai or Qashqai or Koshki, whatever the heck it's called, the Nissan Rouge, whatever monotonous thing that goes with it. It's monstrosity. Anyways, so yeah, you can do a lot of things. I will note when I was doing this, I noticed my decal was being kind of weird on the license plate, so I did turn around and fix that too. I just didn't realize, like, wait, it's using the base license plate. Why is it using the base one? This is very weird, for that matter. But yeah, so I had to turn around and fix that real quick too, because yeah, I will say this decal is not final yet. I have not posted this yet. It's not going to be posted till the special event's over, because yeah, just say there's a special event ticket to this car as well on top of it. I'm just going to keep customizing this splatter style I did to this car at the end of the day. Oh yeah, the crazy thing, you can change the front too, which is weird, but it's a choice. Of course, the black calipers. And I think that should be about it. If I forgot about the headlight, something about the lights you can change, my bad on that. But otherwise, here's the event, which is the lightweight K-Cup at, and you're going to be surprised about this, Nürburgring Nordschleife. Oh yeah, it's one lap from Nordschleife, baby. Here we go. Time for a good old trip, as I say. Luckily, I'll just say this in advance, it's only like 10 minutes, so that's a good part. But the M1 RS is easily probably my favorite car out of the trio at the end of the day, because you get a fun little K car that does what it should at the end of the day. Plus also you can toss this into the FF 150 event if you so desire to. Such. But yep, you get a bunch of tuned K cars at the end of the day. You got some okay designs and got some that are pretty cool. Considering the M1 itself, because as you saw on the cover there, yeah, that was a sick final design for that M1 they did for a K car for once. Because most of them has like one piece of decal and such. I guess that was perfect there. But most of them have like one decal and such. But this has like a nice force to it that we're going to be seeing here eventually once we get to it. And the best part, who drives that car? That's the funny part. So they say. Yeah, the other cool part about this event that we are going to be coming across weather and such too in a bit right here. See all these other K cars and such. And there's the Copen. Yeah, that's the other one I'm thinking that's an FF. If not, if that's an FR, this is the only FF in that case. But I thought the Copen was. I thought that's the reason why the Copen's in here, because they at least got one drivetrain on each. Because the Cappuccino's FR. The Honda Beat is the MR. Although we also have the Honda S660 too. Passing by this Cappuccino. But yeah, Cappuccino easily probably the fastest K car still. Thus far, I think. But yeah, here's the Honda M1 RS, which yeah, you can see by the Italian flag, and guess who's driving it? Mr. V Gallo! V Gallo, come on down! You're driving the Honda M1. Which is honestly good. That's nice. Yeah, as you can see, it just suddenly just started raining, like dropping a huge bucket on you all of a sudden. Yeah, because you see the wet, the wet scale just went up to 2 immediately. Oh my god. Because yeah, this is it's like orange or red weather right now. It's like a big giant bar you have to go across and such. I guess you're just driving down this way, you gotta deal with the rain now, which the rain is interesting when it comes to K cars because it kind of doesn't really affect them very much. Except during downhills, if it's a high-speed steering moment. That's the only time it kind of affects. Otherwise, it's just kind of good. Cause yeah, I think that's the special thing about K cars. They're in the lowest speeds. Low enough speeds where they ain't gonna get affected by weather very much because they don't really go that fast, to be honest. Because 100 horsepower is not a whole lot. As much as you would think. I must say. Yeah, you got the Honda S6Cs, which yeah, we have a bunch of S660s. Cause yeah, I will know I technically did this event again. Because I did this event before of the vinyl design. Now I'm doing it with the vinyl design. That's like the crap stain is the Qashqai or Qashqai. That car I did twice too because I realized I did an error because I forgot to add the wide body to it. It's like, oh god. Because I usually add wide bodies to like every car I do anymore. Now, do I do it because I have to? Technically, no, but I might as well anyway, so that way that's the performance you get as a wide body and not as a wide body, so to say. And does that technically open spots where you could do one with the wide body and no wide body? Yes, but that'll be just cumbersome altogether. But if it's possible the car is better with no wide body, then good. I'd be kind of surprised, but then again, it probably does have a matter to if it's a high-speed race or not. Perhaps that's the only thing I can think of the wide body at the end. Yeah, it's just like rain hardcore. Like this is like the hardest rain I've dealt with, and yeah, it's kind of fine with this car because this car just takes you like no tomorrow. Just drive on down like no tomorrow. But yeah, I nicknamed this car the Splatter because I just thought of like a design. It's like, you know what? Paint splats. Let's go all over the place with it. Yeah, the Honda Forest design they did to that is pretty cool. Like I said. And you got the Honda Beach here, which yeah, it looks basic as heck. Cause yeah, like I said, some of them really didn't got much of a vinyl design because they're just you slapped an AMT on that one. This one you just have that. Yeah, pretty basic overall. Although the Cappuccino looks like it's like a street modified at the end of the day. Because I will say I'm not gonna ask much for vinyl, but at least like do some. Something at least the level I can do here. I will note I technically took 2 days making that final design, but I sure the hell did it eventually. Because I will note the previous design was completely different. Because I think it was like a black top and a green paint splatter, but then, well, I will say it technically wasn't a paint splatter at first, but then I realized like the more I look at it, it looks like a paint splatter, so I was like, you know what, let's go with the paint splatter, call it splatter. That's the car's nickname, Splatter. Don't you forget it. But yeah, I'll be eventually again uploading that once the next update rolls in. For now, I'm just gonna be tweaking it here and there for the special events and stuff, as I always do. As a matter of fact, I already uploaded the 812 super fast one, so if anyone wants that, they can have that. I did some fine touches to it and did some fixes I needed to. Yeah, overall, this is actually a fun event. Cause you wouldn't think this be a crappy race because it's a big long track at the end of the day. No, you got some challenge because as you can see, it took me a bit till I got to him. That's just a matter of just keeping it, because I will say that Cappuccino is way faster than me on straights. If you're gonna notice on the big straightaway, I'll just say that. The only reason I'm going faster is whenever downhill's in play. Because like I said, and I'll say again, the horsepower is not that high, so downhill is going to be a big factors on cars like these. This case, such. Yeah. So now just trying to get away from the cappuccino as quick as I can. It's got a lot of turns and banks to go through. But now we're getting close to the upper bank here. Such. Yeah, just trying to show the dashboards as quickly as I can because this is a 10-minute race, so I can take and show everything. Yeah, as the saying goes, I'll show everything within a car if I had the opportunity to. As long as it's 10 minutes, if it's not 10 minutes, I'll just show it. That's just the car surrounding and, you know, camera view basically at the end of it. Yeah, other than say at the end of it, yeah, the M1 RS is actually one of my favorite kit cars so far. Or a van-like body, because it just reminds me of Demio at the end of the day. It reminds me of that fun little monster car too. You know, kid, I thought that was cool back then. Yeah, I do like slow, dorky cars, I will say. As long as it's fun, dorky cars, I will say. But in most cases, those slow, dorky cars became fun cars at the end of the day. Except for the Mazda Demio, I don't know if that car will ever come back or not. The 90s Demio. We do have a Demio, but that's not the right Demio. It has to be the boxy round one that we come to know and love in Gran Turismo 1 too. Yep, on the way, almost there at the end. But yeah, no matter what though, I will say the rain will happen because this is the second time I race, and yeah, this rained heavier than the first time. The first time wasn't so bad. This time, holy crap! It's like it dumped a whole bucket all of a sudden. Like, oh my god! I got 959, which is slower because of that big giant dump of rain. Last time it was like 946, so it wasn't so bad. So yeah, here's the other thing they did toss too, which was a vinyl for the RCF GT3. So I just did a quick 10-lap race around Seca because I will say when you do custom race on 10 laps at GT4 Performance or Grade 4 Performance 700 pp basically, you get more money than what the event serves, because I will say they still haven't balanced these events to these days. To this day, I gotta say. So I just decided, I was like, you know what, let's pit my grade 3 and the grade 4 performance against each other. So just do like one quick lap showcasing those vinyl at the end of the day, which for a bomb, not bad. That's nice. Yeah, but just look at the Mustang just spin out all of a sudden, because yeah, they have a habit spin out every now and then. That's the funny part. That's kind of the reason why I did this track. Besides just having fun at the end of it. Yeah, custom racing just so much better than doing actual events sometimes. This car's trying to feel out stuff though. Like I said. And again, it is a big old V8. Yep, that basically ends that showing, but now for the engine swaps. Yeah, from the lowest, I gotta say, the Lancer Evo is kind of crappy with the with the R35 GTR Nismo motor, because while it has all that acceleration stuff, both these cars suffered a big problem. 6 laps, that's all you get. But yeah, the Subaru only got the LS7 from the BRZ. The Clio got the impressive rally though, which bumps up to I'd say a B for that case. And then you got the Celica with the SC430, which is really nice because it bumps up to 750 pp. And then the big one, I think the biggest that hits the hardest, the most number one of them all, I think, is the 86 GT Limited with the LTS Corvette C7. Not just any LTS Corvette C7, but the one with the ZR1 kind motor. So as a result, this car at 600 pp hits about 200 miles per hour, which is not bad, but I will say you do have to do some weight adjustments in the front to make sure it doesn't, spaz out and stuff. Otherwise, once you basically find out the adjustments and stuff, just up to suspension stuff and uh, weight weight balance the front a good bit, you'll get a car that's insanely quick, I gotta say. Because yeah, I will say for the Corvette ZR1, normally that car weighs about 3,300 pounds. This weighs about probably 2,500 pounds. So that is drastically different and fast as crap, I gotta say. That's fast. 200 miles per hour at 570 horsepower, I think I put this at. It's pretty crazy, and yeah, I had to detune this. Normally it's 754. Yeah, it's that crazy. The other thing to mention too, that it also suffers PP crunch too. That's the other reason why I did the 600 PP build, because once it hits like a certain point, it just doesn't want to go up any higher. Another car I could see suffers that too is the Subaru WRX TT ISOL, because that gets like 1,200, but it won't pass the 750 mark. So yeah, that's the one stupid glitch I hate in Gran Turismo 7, is that for some reason some cars suffer this weird PP crunch, which I don't know why, they just so happen to do. But that's basically all to say, besides, oh yeah, I also did like 7 or 8 laps with the tubes. That's the other crazy part. The other really crazy good part. But that's basically all to say about this showcase at the end of the day. So I hope you enjoyed what you watched today, and hopefully maybe do some of these actions, so to say. So, until then, I'll see you guys all next time. I hope you enjoyed what you watched, and ciao.